Hello, everybody, and welcome. We are so happy that you have decided to join us today to learn more about what it's like to be a developmental disability services case manager. I got to tell you, this is one of my favorite jobs, and we're going to learn more about that today. So while we're together, I do ask that you guys go ahead and share your cameras so we can see you. Everybody, we usually interact a little bit better when we can all see each other. But before we really get into the presentation, I really want to know who all of you all are, right? So if you don't mind, would you go ahead and drop into the chat and tell me what your name is, what is your current occupation, and if you feel comfortable sharing that with us, and then tell me what your favorite springtime activity is. So go ahead and drop that into the chat. And while you all are doing that, I'm going to introduce our team to you. So my name is Miranda Hutchison, and I am the business analyst and your host today. I work for Developmental Disability Services, of course, and my favorite springtime activity is planting my flower garden. I love doing that. All right, Sheila, will you please introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Sheila Bowen. I'm the Deputy Director over Case Management with DDS, and I'm really excited to have all of you here with us today. I hope that we're able to answer your questions and that you want to come join us. This is a great place to work. So thank you.
Ryan?
Sure. I'm Ryan Stewart. I'm the Marketing and Communications Coordinator for DDS. And I concur, it's a great place to work.
Wendy?
My name is Wendy Bowen. I am a Program Manager 3 with DDS. And I'm with Miranda. This has been my most favorite job that I've had. So,
all right, let's see who else we have on the team. Alan, you want to introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. My name is Alan Ramsey. I'm the Human Resources Recruitment Manager for the agency, and I think DHS is a wonderful place to work at. You should come on board.
Yay! And I see you guys are putting a lot of information here. We've got a case manager from a correctional facility, working at Chisholm Trails, loves hikes, okay. Former special education teacher, loves to be outside. Sitting outdoors in the fresh air is what Tanya loves to do. Let's see. We've got a school-based social worker that's joined us, taking walks. All right. Okay, we got a lot of different experiences. We got someone that works at Red Rock. Okay. We got someone that's a direct support professional. That's fantastic. Okay. All right, you guys. You can keep dropping that into the chat for us. We got a therapist. All right. This is great. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and I'm going to get us started with the presentation. But as I go ahead and drop that information in the chat for us. Because, actually, before I do that, I apologize. I wanted to let you know about a little bit how this webinar is going to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share a PowerPoint presentation with you. And I'm going to go through that entire presentation, and then we're going to save all of your questions for the end. However, if you come up with a question or have a question, go ahead and drop that into the chat. I've got Ryan on here who's going to be monitoring that chat so we don't lose your questions, okay? So don't think you have to hold on to that question to the end. Feel free to drop that into the chat and we will answer all of those questions. We will have plenty of time to do that at the end. We will be together for about 45 minutes, and I'm going to be really cognizant of that time because I know some of you are using your lunch hours to join us, which we really appreciate. I will use 2 acronyms, or actually 3 acronyms during our time together. The first is DDS, which stands for Developmental Disability Services, which is who we are. The second one I'll use is Oklahoma Human Services, which is the agency umbrella that we work under. And the third one you'll hear me use is IDD, which stands for Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities. And that is the population that we serve here at DDS. So I will ask Ryan to go ahead and drop in the chat for me those 3 acronyms so that you guys can reference those. All right, so let's get started. Let me share my screen. Okay, now everybody should be able to see that. Okay.
I think you're muted.
Thank you, Tia.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. All right, let me try that again. Okay, I'm going to start with just a broad overview of what it's like to be a case manager. So as a case manager, you will be responsible for managing a caseload of people with IDD who live and work in the community. So you will have a caseload of between 30 and 40 people, but I don't want you to worry about that number at all. When you come on as a case manager, you will gradually work up to that 30 and 40 number. And in fact, when you first come to work for us, you'll probably be working with us for at least a month before you start receiving your first cases. So we're very cognizant of that, and we add cases at your pace. As the case manager, you act as that central hub, really, for that person. So that makes you responsible for leading those team meetings and coordinating services and supports for the people on your caseload. And one of your biggest roles as a case manager is to be an advocate. So that means you'll work with that team and that person to help make sure that they are living their best life. And sometimes that will mean advocating for change when things just aren't working, or it might mean advocating for things to stay the same. You'll also work with other Oklahoma organizations in the school system to make sure that the person's needs are being met. One of the big things that, one of the advantages really of working for DDS is we get to work what's called a hybrid work schedule. So what that means is about half the time as a case manager, you'll work from your home office, like where I'm at now, right? And this is where you'll do your computer work, some of your online trainings, and that you'll do all of your documentation. The other half of the time, you'll be spending that out in the community where you're going out and you're doing visits with the people in your caseload at their home and community and employment settings. You'll also do some team meetings out into the community as well. We call those type of activities that are person directed field work. And you're going to hear me use that term a couple of times. As a case manager, you'll also be required to come into the office once a week, at least once a week, to work one-on-one with your mentor. And we'll talk a little bit more about those mentors here in a little bit. But that'll be your time to really get that hands-on training and practical skill development. And then you'll also come into the office at times as directed by your supervisor or for in-person training events. Oklahoma Human Services, or OHS, also provides everyone with a state-issued laptop and cell phone, and those will be what you would use for all of your work-related activities. And then OHS also offers the availability of state-owned vehicles for us to reserve. However, and it's nice to have those because it helps us to really save some of that wear and tear on our vehicles. However, they are a first come, first served basis on those, but don't worry, if you're not able to reserve a vehicle, you can use your own and be reimbursed for mileage. So I want to take a pause there. And in the chat, again, I want you guys to tell me about your experience working with people with IDD. So go ahead and drop that into the chat for me. And I'll tell you, for me, I started as a case manager with DDS back in 2002. I started as a case manager, and then I've moved from there up to being a program field representative to a programs manager, and now I'm the business analyst. And I got to tell you, I love this job, and this is probably where I will retire out of. Okay. We've got, okay. We've got someone that was a caseworker for children and adults that have IDD. All right, fantastic. I worked as an HDS for many, many years. Hey, that is great work. Interned with the ARC. We got another HTS at the Power Shop. Fantastic. An internship with DRS. Great. This is some great experiences. What else we got? Program coordinator. All right. A special education teacher. A house manager. Working for Head Start. Worked in the field over 20 years as an HDS and home management. Man, you direct support workers, man, I'm telling you, you are the heart. As a school administrator, as a house manager, a special education teacher, fantastic. Great. You guys keep dropping that in. All right, I'm going to keep us moving. Okay, so let me go and dig a little bit deeper into what is a day in the life of a case manager. So remember I mentioned that word field work, right? Well, like I said, that field work is going to be about half your job. And it is a big portion of that job. And that is where you will be required to go out and do those required face-to-face visits with the people in your caseload in their home, community, and employment settings. During those visits, you're going to be looking to make sure the person's needs are being met, right? Are there any health or safety risks that need to be addressed? You're looking to see if the person's receiving their services as prescribed in the plan. And you're also asking to make sure the person is happy and satisfied with services, right? One of the things that we like to remind all case managers, whether they're new or old, is that when we're going into people's homes or at their job sites, we always have to be very respectful, right? Not everybody lives the same way as we do, but we always have to be respectful. It is a huge deal that that people we support and their families are inviting us into their homes and sharing their lives with us. And so we need to be respectful of that. The other thing that's really great and wonderful and unique about this job is that we really get to serve people throughout their entire lifespans. From the age of 3 till death, we're there. So we get to watch them and help them achieve those big moments, like getting that job, graduating high school, moving out of their own, getting roommates, or whatever it might be. So it's pretty exciting work. Another one of the roles that I mentioned earlier that you will do as a case manager is you'll be responsible for conducting team meetings. And there's really 2 different types of team meetings. There's one that we call our annual planning meetings, and the other one is kind of those mid-year review or addendum meetings. So those annual review meetings, those are usually held in person. And that's where you're looking at that plan and you're planning for the entire service year, right? You're looking to see what services and supports need to be in place. Then those mid-year meetings or agenda meetings is where you'll have those. Sometimes they're in person, sometimes they're via Teams like this, and sometimes they're via phone, just depending on the complexity of the needed changes. But those are usually occur because the person's had a change in their health or behavioral needs, or they may have changed where they live, or they may have gotten a different job or whatever that might be. As a case manager, I mentioned documentation. You will do a lot of documentation. I won't lie about that. You will be responsible for documenting all of your activities in our client contact manager, writing assessments and plans. So you do need to have good writing skills. And that every day as a case manager is different, right? There is nothing monotonous about the job that we do. It's pretty exciting. So I want to take another pause right there. And I want you now to drop in the chat. And I want you guys to tell me what you like about social work. So while you are doing that, I'm going to ask Wendy to tell us what she likes about social work.
I think my favorite thing is just walking with the individuals that, were on my caseload. I was a case manager and then a case manager supervisor before getting my new role. And just seeing them where they are and like Miranda said, those really hard-earned accomplishments that they have that it seems like they would be little, but for them, they're, they can be huge things. And my just all-time favorite was doing my visits and going and seeing them and getting to know them. And then supporting them for, during those hard times, that they work through. So by far, the individuals we work with make this job amazing, but also my coworkers in every level that I've been in. So just watching them be supportive of their individuals and each other. So it's just a really good, fun job, and it's humbling. So I don't know, maybe everything about it, Miranda, but mostly the individuals and coworkers are amazing.
Right. Sheila, do you want to add something into that real quick?
Well, I don't know. Wendy said it really well. I mean, the best part of the job for me was always the home visits, going out and interacting with individuals. And like you said, sometimes you get to be a little bit of the hero. You get to help them get a ramp installed so they can access their home more safely and independently, or you can help, them find, get a provider to help them find a job, or lots of different things. So I think that is the best part. But I also agree with Wendy. We have great coworkers. It's a great team. And so I too started as a case manager and a supervisor, and then I have worked my way up through lots of different jobs at DDS. So I feel like I have a pretty well-rounded viewpoint on all the different positions. And so I've really enjoyed every one of those stops along the way. And so I hope that lots of you will be interested in coming and joining us. And we have lots of good work to do, and we need you.
I'm going to read a couple of these off from the chat because you guys have put some really wonderful answers. Managing and supporting the individual to achieve their daily life affairs. Enjoy the process of trying new things until you figure out what works. And then, of course, that moment when a client realizes they can do something they couldn't do before. I love being able to help others who need a little more support. I love the challenges of every moment, and nothing is the same, and I have the potential to do great work. That's fantastic. I like seeing the joy in people when I help improve their life in some way. Let's see what else we got. Helping in the area that is most needed for the individual and seeing them grow or flourish in that area. Helping clients reach their potential, improve their quality of life. I've had great learning experiences and the gratification of helping the patient and the family with their needs. Living a life with purpose is the most important in my life. The field is very rewarding and brings much joy. Interacting with special needs individuals gives you the daily dose of gratitude you need. Fantastic. Okay. I want us now to hear let's hear what, if my slide will be up, sorry. There it goes. Let's hear what Terry has to say.
Being a case manager is great. And one of the things is that you get to love on people and to see someone light up after being able to provide some type of services for that family. You should feel like Superman or Superwoman or Wonder Woman. Why? Because you're able to go back and put a smile on a kid's face, put a smile on a parent's face. It makes all of the difference.
Don't you just want to love and cuddle Terry? He's just fantastic. Okay. Now that you've heard all that great information, I bet your next big question is like, well, how do I qualify for this job, Miranda? This is fantastic, right? Okay. So to qualify is pretty simple. You need to have a bachelor's degree in a human services field or a valid permanent Oklahoma license as approved by the Oklahoma Board of Nursing. You need to have 1 year paid experience working with people with IDD, which by looking through the chat earlier, I can say like, you guys all have that, right? You need to live within 75 miles of your duty station, and there are duty stations all over Oklahoma. So don't worry about that. You do need to have reliable childcare. Remember, I said that you're going to be out in the field about half of the time, and so you need to be able to do that. You also need to have the ability to go out and respond to emergencies out in the field when that happens as well. You do need, of course, to have a valid driver's license and insurance. And we will request a copy of your official bachelor's certificate or transcript. We just are required to have a copy. All right. Now, I know that you're like, well, okay, well, when I go to interview Miranda, like, what are you really looking for in those new hires? Well, we're looking for several things. One of those is we need people that are really highly organized. You guys are going to receive a lot of information, and you're going to need to be able to organize that in a meaningful manner, right? So you can keep up with your work. You're going to need to be responsible for tracking different things like progress reporting, those annual meetings, and your face-to-face visits. Of course, we need people that are compassionate. We are social workers, right? You guys are going to interact with people in a lot of different situations. And you need to be able to walk into all of those situations with compassion and be ready to listen and provide those supports. We at DDS, this is a no judgment zone. A lot of our families and definitely the people we support through our programs have been judged all their lives, and we definitely do not want to be part of that. Okay. We need people that are ready to learn. Like I said, you are going to receive a lot of information and you're going to need to be receptive to that. But don't let that worry you. You will be assigned a mentor and you will get extensive training. And we'll talk about that towards the end of the presentation. We do ask that you have the ability to use or you're willing to learn how to use Microsoft applications. We live and breathe in Microsoft. Like right here, I'm using Microsoft PowerPoint for the presentation. We're in Microsoft Teams now. We use Microsoft Outlook for all of our email. We use OneNote to help with organization. So we use a lot of different Microsoft tools. Don't worry, if you don't know how to use them, we will provide you the on-the-job training, extensive on-the-job training to make sure that you know how to use all of those tools. So don't worry about that. We also need to look for people that have the ability to pivot when emergencies happen. As a case manager, you may walk in or sit down into your home office and be like, it's 8 a.m. and I have this list of things to do in this order. But then at 8:30, you get a phone call and that entire list is out the window and your day has changed. So you have to be ready to pivot when those things happen, okay? All right, let's hear from, before we hear from Elise, I want you guys to tell me and drop in the chat and just tell me how you're feeling right now. Like, are we feeling energized? Are we feeling overwhelmed? You're ready to apply for the job. How are we feeling? Drop that in the chat for me. I'm feeling pretty great. I'll just tell you guys that just because, you know, I love talking with people and I love this job. So excited, interested, fantastic, feeling good, ready to apply. I love hearing that. All right. Interested, fantastic, feeling good, excited, totally blessed. I had an interview today and can't, wait to get started. That's good. Congratulations. Okay, excited to learn more. Excited about the position. I feel great. I feel more excited about the work. That's the reason we're doing these. We did the webinars because we want you guys to know what you're applying for, right? All right. Good. Interested. Want to learn more? Fantastic. Okay, you guys can keep dropping that in, and I'm going to play this video from Elise.
I love advocating and working with my client population and just seeing them finally achieve goals that they've been working towards for years. And then to watch them do it is just such a wonderful moment.
Elise is pretty awesome. All right. We're going to get to all those questions. Okay, so remember, if you have questions, keep dropping those in the chat. Okay, let's talk about benefits, right? What's in it for you, right? Okay, so one of the good things about working for OHS and DDS is that you can have a flexible work schedule. So if you need to flex your schedule because you have a doctor's appointment or you have to run your kid here or there, then there is some opportunities for flexibility. Just you have to work with your supervisor to discuss those flexibilities. You also have some flexibility in your normal work schedule. So for example, I work 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. Others might work 8 to 5 or 9 to 6, but you'll need to work with your supervisor to determine your normal working hours. I will tell you, you cannot work evenings and overnight. Those hours do have to be during the day. At DDS, we are pretty proud that we offer a supportive work environment. I mean, truly, when you come in to work with us, we surround you with a group of people to help you make sure you are successful. And we're here to listen and we're here for you to lean on and to answer those questions. OHS also offers an employee assistance program. So that's fantastic to access as well. That offers counseling and other needs. At DDS and Oklahoma Human Services, we offer lots of learning and growth opportunities. In DDS alone, we have Power Hour, we have our Leadership Academy. DHS has some advanced mentorship opportunities, LinkedIn Learning, and other development courses. So there's always opportunities for development. Oklahoma Human Services also offers a healthcare benefit stipend, which is also one of my favorites because it really helps to cover those hefty costs for healthcare benefits. That's really important. After you've been with OHS for 2 years, you will be eligible for what we call longevity pay. And that longevity pay will occur every year after those 2 years, and it increases every 2 years. So it's a really nice kind of little bonus to have at the end of the year. Or it actually happens on your anniversary date when you get that pay after the 2 years. You also have the ability to accrue your sick and annual leave. So your leave does not expire at the end of the year like it often does in other organizations and professions, which is super nice that you can continuously accrue that leave. All right. Remember, drop those questions in. All right. Academy. Let's talk about the academy. Every new case manager that comes in to work with DDS will go through what we call the academy, which is our training. And in that academy, you're going to go through various courses, and both in person, virtually, online. And those courses will be take about 2 months to complete all of those. And you'll have the opportunity during those courses to meet various different DDS personnel, which is quite nice. You will also be working one-on-one with your mentors to get that hands-on training and that practical skill development. Remember how I mentioned you'll be in the office at least once a week working with your mentor. And that is once a week at least, it may be more. But we really created this academy, and there's been a lot of work around that to make sure we're getting you what you need to help set you up for success as a case manager, because we want to support you through that. All right, I am going to stop my share, and we are going to begin opening the floor up to questions. Brian has been tracking those for us. Ryan, you want to start with some of the questions that we have?
Sure. Yeah, one of the first ones was whether or not we'd be sending out the slides from this presentation. And I did confirm that we can send out the slideshow with everything to everyone who attended today. So be looking at your email for that after this. One of the first questions we got was, do we hire part-time positions?
Sheila?
We do not have any part-time case manager positions. So unfortunately, that's not an option for us at this time.
Next
Feel
question.
free to go ahead and turn on your cameras, guys. Turn on your cameras. Let's see everybody. We want to see your smiley faces. Turn those on. Don't be hiding. Okay. Next question, Ryan.
This question was, what are the benefits? But that came right as you went into the benefits. But if there are any follow-ups to the benefit questions, this would be a great time for it. And then the one after that was, how long does it take to know if you get the job? And can you speak a little about the career advancement?
Sheila, I'm going to hand that one to you, if you don't mind. And then Alan's there to support you.
Yeah, I mean, Alan might be able to give better numbers on exactly how long it takes, but we are trying to, turn that around pretty quickly after we do interviews and make offers pretty quickly. So I don't think it's a long, long period of time, but he can probably talk to you the exact numbers. And what was the second half of that question?
Can you speak a little about career advancement opportunities?
So we have lots of career advancement opportunities. There's, case management. There's a case manager 3 position, which is kind of a lead worker. There's a case management supervisor position. We have lots of what we call program field reps, and they kind of specialize in different areas of different pieces of the programs. And then from there, we have program managers, like what Wendy does, where she's kind of, in her role, she's kind of our liaison for case management to the other leadership, the rest of the leadership team. And then there's just lots and lots of different positions along the way up to, I'm a deputy director. My boss is the director of DDS. So I've probably had 5 or 6 levels within DDS that I've been in throughout my career. Alan?
Yes, to kind of jump in on the time frame, once you submit an application, on average, it takes maybe about 2 weeks to hear something about the status of your application. If you go forward with the interview, it could take maybe a week and a half. However, you can always reach out to us to get an update, and we can kind of maybe put a little rush on it, say, hey, this person really seems interested. If you're eager to work with us, we're eager to get you employed. So anytime, just reach out to us and we'll see what we can do.
And next up was, I think they called attention to this, Miranda, when you mentioned your schedule. Can you work 4 10-hour shifts?
Sheila, I'm gonna let you answer that one.
So we do have flexible work hours. You can't do that right from the beginning, because there's training and things. And so I don't remember at what point that we allow people to move into that, but there are options for 9-hour days and half day on Friday or Monday or whatever. There are also options for 410s, yes. And so that's just something you would have to work out between you and your supervisor, but it's not an option when you first start, like I said, because there's too many trainings and things that you have to attend, and those are on the Monday through Friday schedule. So we have to get you through training, and there is a point, and I just do not remember off the top of my head at what point you can move to that alternative work week, which is what we call it.
I can't remember if it's 6 months or 1 year, but it's one or the other.
And the next question was, can you please define evenings and weekends? I had anticipated we would be available to consumers as late as 6 or 7 p.m.
You want to answer that, Sheila, or you want me to? Before it. Okay. So it depends. The answer to that question really depends on who you have on your caseload. You may have some individuals that they work all day, so you can only visit them in the evening hours, or you might have someone that lives with a family and they don't get home till 6, so you might have to do a 6:30 in the evening appointment. You may have to do an appointment on a weekend every once in a while, but those aren't all that common all the time. But when those do happen, you will be allowed to go ahead and work week adjust your schedule so that you're not working above those 40 hours. So if you ended up working really late on a Thursday night, you might work come into work late on a Friday, right? So we'll allow you to work week adjust those hours.
And I would add, you are the manager of your schedule. So, you know, if you know that you can't do it on Thursday evenings, then you could arrange to schedule that on a Tuesday or whatever other day that would work for you. So it's not like somebody is telling you on Thursday, we need you to go out and do this visit. You'll talk with the individual or their family or whoever and negotiate a time that works for both of you.
If we're ready for our next question, I think this came up during the part about the academy. So that might inform this question, but Christy Rushing asked, is that similar to CORE?
It is
Yes.
similar.
It's not all in person. A lot of it is virtual. So it's not like you necessarily go somewhere and stay for a week and do that, but it is kind of back-to-back trainings in a kind of condensed time frame. Some of it is in person, some of it is virtual, some of it is hands-on with your mentor. But yeah, it's kind of our version of that.
And then there are two pretty similar questions that came through a little bit apart that I'll put together is, what does the caseload look like? And then the other one was, if we have a caseload of up to 40 people, does our mentor help us figure out how to make home visits to all of them? Will they be within a certain mile radius of our own homes? How does that look?
So yes, your mentor can help you figure that out. If you had a caseload of 40, then I would say the majority of those cases would not require monthly visits. So there's a different cadence to visits depending on the type of caseload. And so the people that have those higher caseloads of like 40, typically those are ones that don't require monthly visits. Some of them require quarterly visits. Some of them require a visit every 6 months. But yes, your mentor would help you kind of schedule that out and make sure that you make sure you hit those targets, but you can stagger them so that you don't make all of your visits in June. You make, some in May, some in April, some in June, like to hit that quarter or whatever. So that sounds overwhelming when you think I have to do 40 home visits in a month, because that's like 2 a day for every work day. But that's not how that works out. And so it's a little bit less overwhelming than it sounds. And so, but yes, we would help you figure out how to manage that.
And your mentor will also go with you on your first visit. So it's not like you get your caseload and we're like, here you go. They'll go with you. They'll help you kind of show you what you need to look at and, things that you need to ask and see. So, but yeah, they'll help you and go with you, and then you'll be able to make those.
A good follow-up to that is, can you all talk a little bit about the work-life balance of being a case manager?
I feel like a case manager, I mean, other than the occasional visits that you do have to do outside of your work hours, I mean, your time is dedicated to us from 8 to 5 or whatever your work hours are. But there's not a lot of after hours, weekends, things like that. Like, so those are the one-offs. Those are not the norm.
Yeah.
And so I feel like the work-life balance is pretty good. But we do, we expect people to work their assigned hours, but then we want you to have the time off afterwards to do all the things you need to do with your family or with your friends, for yourself, and so I think it's pretty good. Wendy, you're a little more closely removed from case management, but what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you said. And it is, I mean, your supervisor is not going to require you to work till 8 o'clock at night. It's your caseload is designed to be, within your work hours, with the exception of, maybe doing some evening, those evening visits for the families that do work, and things like that. But, when you get off, you're off. If you're working 8 to 5 o'clock comes, it's extremely rare that you're called back in. So it's not like, for those of you that have been a DSP, HTS in a house, if you're the house manager, someone doesn't show up, you get a phone call and you have to go in. That's not the case with case management. You're not expected to answer calls after your hours. They can leave a message and you return the call the next day. Now, there might be emergencies that come up and you just want to know what's going on and, things like that, but you're not expected to carry your phone while you're at home or, on the weekend. We used to have on call to where we would do a week of on call, and we don't even have that anymore. So, once you clock out, you do your life, and, and we're also very supportive when those things happen that you need to be out of the, during the day. Like Miranda said, we have flex time. So if you need to go to the doctor's appointment and you want to work, you could flex that. You're out 2 hours. You might be able to work 2 hours a little bit longer than your, after your 5 o'clock. But, again, I believe it was Sheila and Miranda said, you'll just work with your supervisors on those.
Thank you, Wendy. Just real quick before, I will also say that Oklahoma Human Service and DDS all stress a work-life balance. That is something that we are constantly addressing as an agency. So Ryan, we got 6 minutes left, y'all.
Yep. You already answered the next question, which was Tia asking, are we on call? So you covered that one. Some of these are, several are salary based or hours based. So I'm going to kind of combine here. What is kind of the salary range, and is it salary or hourly pay? And lastly, how soon do benefits start after you are hired?
Ellen?
Yeah, I'm kind of missed the first part, but the second part is how soon benefits start. So the moment you get hired is the moment benefits start to occur for you. There's not like a 2 or 3 month wait. When you get hired, that's when you start to get your leave building up and everything else. What was the first question, or the first part? I'm sorry.
What is the salary range, and is it salary or hourly pay?
Okay, so the salary range, depending on which level you get hired on, there's a level 1, level 2. Your level 1 is going to be $40,000.87. Level 2 is going to be $43,000.97. As far as if it's salary, it's not exactly salary. However, you are going to hit your 40-hour mark and then possibly overtime. So you will receive your full check. The only time I can see maybe if that doesn't happen is maybe you have leave and you use all of your leave and you still take more time off after you no longer have leave, then maybe you will see a decrease depending on what that situation is. However, you're going to receive your paycheck.
And several questions are about where there are openings. Are there openings in southeastern Oklahoma? Are there openings in western Oklahoma? There are openings all over the state.
All over.
to my knowledge. And I've put a link to the case manager position webpage in there. If you click on the apply now, you can scroll through and look for DDS case manager jobs. They're mixed in with all the other agency jobs. You can search by case manager and find one that is associated with your county, and may also let Alan kind of direct on how to go about applying or finding the job opportunities in your area.
Well, I would just add
Yeah.
that even if it's not located in your exact county, if it's in your kind of general region, we can kind of look to see if we can like we can work with you on like, is that position, you know, so just look there, but there are pretty much across the state, there are openings, and we have people that we serve in. I don't think we have 77 counties, but I think we hit 76 or 75. I mean, like we have work to be done across the state. Sorry, Alan.
No problem. I believe the question, if I'm remembering, is how you all apply. Is that correct, Ryan?
Yes, how
so
do you
you can
apply?
just go-
How do you know if it's in your area?
Okay, so you can Google the DHS career page at OK DHS Careers. It's going to take you directly to our career page. Just FYI, our career page is going to be separate from other state agency career pages. We have our own standalone, so make sure you Google OK DHS and not the state of Oklahoma. Whenever you pull up the job list, it's going to be organized by county. So if there's a particular county that you would like to work in, make sure you're looking. Pay attention to the county because that is where that job is going to be. Since we're talking about applications, I kind of wanted to touch on a question that we have that's a little tricky on the application, and it kind of causes people who do qualify for the job to be auto rejected. So I know we're getting close to the limit, so I'm gonna try to go fast.
Go for it.
In order to meet the qualifications for this job, one of the qualifications or one way that you can meet is having a bachelor's degree in a human service field. That's pretty broad. So 8 times out of 10, if you have a bachelor's degree, we can use that. We can accept that. There are 4 areas of education that we will not accept. That is in a physical science, a natural science, a biological science, or mathematics. If you have a degree in any of those fields, unfortunately, we cannot accept that degree. So the question that we have on the application, it says, do you have one of the following? And it's going to ask you, or it's going to say, I have a degree, a bachelor's degree outside of the 4 listed fields. I have a bachelor's degree inside the 4 listed fields, or I have a nurse's license and you are a registered nurse. Of course, if you are a nurse, you use the nurse answer. If you're trying to qualify with a bachelor's degree, make sure you select the answer that says, I have a bachelor's degree in a field outside of physical, natural, biological, or mathematics. We're trying to do good to make sure that we separate the two. Some people hit, I have a bachelor's degree in that field, when in reality, that's not what we want. So just make sure you answer truthfully. And then also that you select to have a bachelor's degree outside of those fields. But that's all I have now. I'll be quiet.
Rapid fire with a few of these. Somebody asked
No.
if the nursing was in lieu of the bachelor's degree. Did you hear that?
Yes.
So,
Does
If they
the-
have a nursing degree, but they don't have a bachelor's degree, does that qualify them?
I believe.
I think it's,
I believe it
You
does.
have to
I
have
believe it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jamie asked marriage and family studies, question mark.
Mm-hmm.
Marriage and
Yeah.
family studies, that account.
That account. There was a question about the difference between level 1 and 2, and I just want to answer that really quick. So a level 1 case manager is someone that has worked directly with people with IDD, but not in a professional position. Like they have been a direct support staff that has worked directly with people with IDD. That is usually someone that's going to come in as a case manager 1. Those that are a case manager 2 are those that have had that professional work experience, such as being a program coordinator or worked as a case manager in other positions or something similar to that. If you come in as a level 1, after you've been with DDS for a year, you are automatically graduated and promoted to a level 2. So we're keep that in mind. If you come in as a level 1, that is only for the first year. And then after that first year, you automatically are bumped to a CM2. Leonard, what's your question? If you're talking, you got to unmute yourself.
While he's unmuting, a few people have asked what an LPN stands for, and LPN or RN.
Licensed practical nurse.
A registered nurse.
Registered nurse.
I think they're asking if they have an
That qualifies.
It qualifies. Yeah.
If
I do want to call attention to one question that came through earlier too. It's how come there are so many openings in the state?
Well, because we are working the waiting list, and we are almost doubling our workload, our number of people we serve. And so we have had to add positions. So yes, there's some turnover. There always is. There's a lot of people have promoted because we've also had to create some higher level positions. So it's just kind of an artifact of that, but we've added a bunch of positions. So we're trying to expand our workforce and now allow us to continue to work those people off of the waiting list we're still in the process of finishing that up. And we have quite a few cases that will be coming to case management soon. So we're trying to fill positions to have the capacity to take those cases as they get approved for services.
And Tanya asked, what if you come in as a level 2 case manager?
So it's not an automatic promotion from a level 2 to a 3. A level 3 is actually a mentoring position. And so you apply for those positions. So you would stay at a level 2 until you promoted to another position by applying and being selected.
And Danielle asked a clarifying question: is either acceptable, or is RN specifically what you're looking for? I think it was either was acceptable, correct? I think that goes back to the LPN or RN question.
it goes back to the response I put in the chat, as long as you have a valid permanent license as approved by the Oklahoma Board of Nursing to practice practical professional nursing, then we can accept that.
I see if there was anything I missed, but I think we've covered almost all of it.
We went over by 4 minutes. What?
I know there is one more. Sorry, Angela asked.
Okay.
I like to be up to date and doing things the right way. How aligned with deadlines and procedures are case managers with government requirements?
We are very
Well,
aligned. We have
funding
federal reporting. Yes, we have a federal reporting requirements, and we have to meet those requirements in order to continue to fund our services. So yes, we are. So I'm going to stop it there. We are 4 minutes over. Thank you everyone for coming in, for being with us today. I can't wait to see all of your applications to become case managers. Sheila, Wendy, Ryan, everybody say any parting words.
Everybody asked about references, and yes, references will, when we're vetting people, we would want to check your references.
And Alan posted an email address. I'm about to repost it since there are a lot of questions, but just if you have questions, it's dhs.careers@okdhs.org if you have any follow-up questions here.
Thank you, everybody. We appreciate your time.
Yes.
Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day. We will see you again, I'm sure.